Okay. The answer is my mother's cookbook and my father's checkbook. Professor Cherian, the mic is all yours.
Thank you very much, Your Eminence, Your Grace, dignitaries on the stage, and friends. It's really a privilege for me to have this opportunity of addressing this very erudite gathering. I'll start with a memory I have of my first encounter with a book. I must have been about 7 years old. My grandfather, Mr. M.C. Varghese, who had migrated from Kerala to northwest Karnataka, Kumta, and was there as a missionary of the Marthoma Church. Yeah, I'm not a Catholic, but I belong to the Marthoma Church. And really, it's a great privilege to be in a Catholic institution and benefit so much from the wisdom of Catholicism. My grandfather had this Malayalam Bible dictionary, and this dictionary had, it was a very, very thick one, must have been about 1,500 pages or 1,500 pages, probably printed in the 1940s. I didn't know Malayalam, but I loved this book partly because it scared me. It was a heavy book, and my grandfather was also a practicing homeopath, and he kept this book on top of that table which had all the medicines underneath. He could lift the top of the table like that, and underneath would be the most beautiful array you could see of all kinds of homeo medicines. But this book was on top. Now I used to sneak up to it sometime to open it to a particular page where there was a picture of a lion. I was both attracted and afraid to see this lion. So from then on, after that, I fell in love with books, and even the smell of old books has always drawn me. I'm a teacher of English, and I find that one of the biggest and increasingly difficult challenges that one faces in my profession is to get youngsters to read. There has been an alarming decline in reading today among young people. And when people come to college now, they are swayed by mobile phones and all the the wonders of gadgetry, and then, you know, the love for books you would see only in a few people. So it's a big loss if people don't cultivate the friendship of books, because books speak to us. And a library is full of living presence of people who have shared their thoughts and ideas with us. So exhibitions of this kind are really important, and librarians are going to become very crucial in the future. These days, the big challenge to the book trade, of course, is the coming of online reading and digital editions of books. But somehow, I'm very skeptical of the kind of pleasure that a digital book can provide. I find, for example, that after about 10 pages of anything on the screen, I get tired. There's something about the physiology of our eyes that make it not very easy in a sustained way to read off the screen. It's very useful as a supplement to good books, but as a substitute, I am really skeptical. So we must encourage the physical book, and also the fact that if you have an encyclopedia, for example, you can have a digital encyclopedia and a physical book. Nowadays, many people think, oh, the digital encyclopedia is wonderful, I just have to type in what I want and the information comes up on the screen. But let me tell you, as a student in high school, I remember going to the encyclopedia section of the library, pulling out a volume at random, flipping through the pages and encountering a topic I found myself drawn to. If I came if I come to a digital encyclopedia, I'm limited by what I want to find. But if it is a physical book, a set of books on the shelf, I can flip the pages and experience what is called serendipity. That is, I can experience a new topic and say, hey, this looks interesting, and I want to read this. So that's where the physical book scores over the digital material. And that's the reason why I think we must promote this. And both Mobin Books and Asian Trading, I've known Asian Trading for a longer time than Mobin Books. My introduction to Mobin Books was recent, and they're doing a wonderful job here promoting good books and making it possible for people to have, through books, an understanding that is in-depth and a faith that is broad-minded and welcomes people of diverse perspectives under the broad umbrella of Christian knowledge. But as you can see, there are books here which people from other faiths will also find very meaningful. So I wish you all success, and I wish this book exhibition all success. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you, Professor Cherian. He happens to be my English professor in college. Okay, now, before we going to the release of the book, Brother, the director of CRI, would like to honor His Eminence Cardinal Clemis and Bishop, the Archbishop, Bishop Moras, with a shawl. Now, since they are adorned with the shawls, I can increase the speed of the fan. May I call on Mrs. Brenda Fernandez to bring up the books to be released? The book to be released, which is of our beloved Pope. I request Most Reverend Dr. Bernard Morris to release the book and hand over the first copy of it to His Eminence Cardinal Clemis. Thank you, Your Grace. And I request you to hand over another copy to Brother Pankras. And you may have one for yourself, Your Grace. Okay, now the next, after releasing the book, with the presence of our Archbishop in our midst, I would like him to address the gathering.
Your Eminence, Cardinal Clemis, the Director of CRI, dear fathers, sisters and friends, and both the proprietors of ATC and Mobin Book Supplies. First of all, welcome to Bangalore, welcome to Archdiocese of Bangalore, and I only pray that this Book Expo 2013, God bless us with all its success. Few days ago, I was informed about this book exhibition, and I was invited for this, and they said, Cardinal is coming, you have to come. I said, when the Prince of the Church be in the Archdiocese, I have to put in my presence. It's not proper for me to say no. And this is why, in spite of my meetings, I said I should come and be part of this celebration and the book exposition. Thank you for your invitation. I was happy to release the book on our present Pope, Pope Francis. I'm not going to speak to you of the importance of book exhibition and what the importance of the good literature, and that too oriented to our seminaries. All of you know you are from the seminaries, and it goes without saying that both the ATC and Mobile Book Supplies try their best not only to bring good books or print good books, but make it available so that the people concerned are exposed towards this good theological literature and other literature, which they could use it for seminaries and the religious institutions. Dear friends, as I was sitting here, a thought came to my mind. What shall I say? The Lord gave His command to go and proclaim the good news. That is the only the command the Lord gave. He has not given any other command. Of course, love one another, forgive one another, everything else is there. But the risen Lord said, go and proclaim the good news. And in the church, this is done in different way. Sometimes we priests, we nuns take credit of proclaiming the good news. But sometimes I feel we do not do our job as much others do. For the last few years, ATC and Mobile Book Supplies, what are they doing? Is it not besides their work in this field, proclaiming the good news of Jesus Christ by printing the books and making it available to all of us? I would personally feel they are doing a better job in this area, because unless we have these books and renew ourselves in your thoughts and your expositions, it's not possible for anyone in the seminaries or the professors to animate our students. And this is why I would like to thank on behalf of the church both these publishers and what they are doing in this regard. Our Pope is in Rio last week, and having been there, some of the headlines that we read these days, besides the Pope of the people, yesterday we read the Pope of the slum. First time a Holy Father goes to a slum there, and the words, rather two speeches that he said. Someone said yesterday, it is dangerous in India. Yes, we think it is dangerous. He said, create a mess in your diocese and go to the streets and proclaim the good news. Comfort zones, and go to the streets and proclaim the good news. Do not Yes, my dear friends, this is the task all of us are being given not by Pope, by Jesus himself. And he is repeating the task that he has been given to us. And publishing good literature, making it available at an affordable cost, is also creating that message that dies in the hearts and coming out of the comfort zone and making it available. One can make money in different way. That is not the thing. But a publisher has a mission. And the mission is that books, when you publish, of value, theological, and which can form the conscience, build the church, build the society. Any amount of literature is available, they can drag the society away from God and away from the church and away from the values. They have been upholding those values through their literature. I would only like to thank for their efforts and bringing these first time in Bangalore. These two publishers have come. And in Bangalore, you know, the Rome of East, the largest number of religious institutions and convents and congregations, I would say, shall I say, in Asia or all over the world except Rome. Yes, it is true. I think we have more than a dozen seminaries in the diocese. We have more than 140 religious congregations of women, 50 of men, and around 500 houses of the religious. All majority of the formation. God has blessed this archdiocese and the city of Bangalore with so many things. We are people of very, very eminent people in the city. And I'm sure all of them will make use of this book publication exposition here and make use of the efforts put in by these two publishers. I wish God's blessing on this efforts of theirs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Grace, for that wonderful message. I now invite our beloved Cardinal, His Eminence Clemis, to address the gathering and finally give us a blessing.
Your Grace, Archbishop Bernard Morris, dear Brother Rangas, the Director of Sierra Institute, Brother Pius, Sir Nigel Fernandez, Sir Baby Joseph, and my dear fathers, sisters, and friends. As the Archbishop has rightly put it, we are in Rome of the East. So, my dear Romans, yes, it is for the first time, not only in Bangalore, I feel the church in India is witnessing a joint collaboration of two leading publishers coming together to obey the command of the Pope. Holy Father Pope Benedict the Emeritus has called for a re-reading of our faith in God and a re-evangelization of proclaiming the gospel to the world of today. And ATC and Mobile Books, they have come together to make the message of the Holy Father alive in the minds of thousands of people in this country. Together with the Archbishop of Bangalore, I congratulate on behalf of the Church in India in taking such a responsibility to keep the gospel alive in this great country of ours. It is time to pick up books to speak. Therefore, I refrain from a lengthy advice, but I feel we are in line with the Holy Father Pope Francis in re-editing, rediscovering the missing link or the most needed connectivity of the hour. In his latest Lumen Fidei, he tells us persons always live in relationship. We come from others, we belong to others, and our lives are enlarged by our encounters with others. Lumen Fidei number 38. Reflections in oral or written forms invite us to be in touch with the mindset of people who are in the past, the present, and who are yet to come. Which is the best book available? The best book which is written in communion with the past, the present, and in set with the future reading. It is not in isolation that we read and write. It's in perfect union that we reflect once again what happened, what is happening, and what would come hereafter. Books are precious in bringing us once again the past and reliving the present, keeping us straight for the days to come. This is not an expo of a few ordinary books. This is something of a special collection. AGC is well known, of course, for its dedicated work. I had the great opportunity to visit your office at St. Patrick's Complex a lot of time. As a student in Dharmadam College, I used to come to AGC. So since 1986, you owe me some subsidies.
That's why he has invited you.
Yeah.